A mistake at the bank. Leo counted the money in his wallet for the third time. Only $50 remained until his next paycheck, and rent was due in 4 days. As a junior graphic designer at a small agency, his income barely covered his expenses in the bustling city. He sighed, remembering the days when his bank account had healthier numbers. At the bank, the morning rush was just beginning. Maria, a new teller with only 3 weeks of experience, adjusted her glasses nervously. She loved helping customers but sometimes felt overwhelmed by the complex computer system. Her supervisor, Mr. Henderson, had reminded her twice already about double-checking transaction amounts. "Next in line, please," Maria called with a friendly smile. Leo stepped up to the counter. "Hi, I'd like to withdraw $300 from my checking account." "Of course," Maria said, her fingers tapping quickly across the keyboard. "May I see your ID and account card?" Leo handed over his documents while checking his phone for messages. He didn't notice Maria's slight frown as she squinted at the screen. "The system is running slow today," she murmured, typing the amount again. "Sometimes it double registers when I press enter too hard." After a minute, she smiled. "All set. Here's your cash." She counted out the bills and placed them in an envelope. "Thanks so much," Leo said, slipping the money into his jacket pocket without checking it. He had a client meeting in 20 minutes and needed to catch the bus. Back at his small apartment that evening, Leo decided to organize his finances. He took out the bank envelope and froze. Instead of $300, he counted 30 crisp $100 bills. $3,000. His heart raced. This was more money than he'd seen in months. For a moment, wild thoughts flashed through his mind. He could pay 2 months' rent up front. He could finally fix his laptop that kept crashing during important projects. He could even take that weekend trip to the mountains he'd been dreaming about. But then his conscience spoke louder. This wasn't his money. Someone at the bank would likely get in trouble. What if they fired the teller? He remembered the young woman with nervous eyes who had helped him. She had been kind and professional. Meanwhile, at the bank, Maria was finishing her shift when Mr. Henderson approached with a serious expression. "Maria, we have a discrepancy in today's transactions. Your cash drawer is short by $2,700. Maria's face turned pale. "That can't be right. I was careful all day." "Let's review your transactions," Mr. Henderson said, leading her to his office. As they scanned through the records, Maria's stomach dropped when she saw Leo's withdrawal. "Oh no," she whispered. "I remember now. The system froze when I entered 300, so I pressed enter again. It must have registered as 3,000. Mr. Henderson sighed deeply. "This is exactly what I warned you about. We'll have to contact the customer, but if he doesn't return the money." Tears welled in Maria's eyes. "I just started this job. My family depends on my income." Leo didn't sleep well that night. The envelope of money sat on his kitchen table like a silent judge. By morning, he had made his decision. He called his office to say he'd be late and headed straight to the bank. When he arrived, he saw Maria at her counter, her eyes red and her shoulders slumped. She was helping customers mechanically, without her previous enthusiasm. Mr. Henderson noticed Leo approaching. "Can I help you, sir?" he asked, his tone cautious. "I think there was a mistake with my withdrawal yesterday," Leo said quietly. "I received too much money." Maria's head snapped up, hope flashing in her eyes. "Come with me, please," Mr. Henderson said, gesturing to his office. Inside, Leo placed the envelope on the desk. "There's $3,000 here. I only asked for 300. Mr. Henderson counted the money and nodded. "Thank you for your honesty." Our teller made an error with the computer system. He glanced at Maria, who had joined them, wringing her hands nervously. "I'm so sorry," Maria said to Leo. "It was my first big mistake." Leo smiled gently. "We all make mistakes. I'm just glad I could fix it." Mr. Henderson's stern expression softened. "Maria, this was a serious error, but since the customer returned the money and you've been otherwise reliable, I'm giving you a formal warning instead of termination. You'll need retraining on the system." Maria breathed a sigh of relief. "Thank you, Mr. Henderson." "And thank you," she said to Leo, her voice filled with gratitude. A week later, Leo visited the bank again to deposit his paycheck. To his surprise, Maria waved him over to her counter. "I never properly thanked you," she said, her eyes shining. "Because you returned the money, I didn't lose my job. I want to give you this." She slid a small envelope across the counter. Inside, Leo found a gift card to his favorite coffee shop and a note, "Thank you for your honesty. Your good deed inspired me to pay it forward. Maria." Over the next few months, Leo and Maria became friends. She helped him set up a savings plan to better manage his finances, and he designed new business cards for her as she worked toward a promotion. One rainy afternoon, as Leo waited in line, he witnessed Maria helping an elderly customer count his money carefully. She looked up and caught Leo's eye, giving him a warm smile. He realized that sometimes mistakes create unexpected opportunities for friendship, for growth, and for reminding us all of the importance of doing what's right, even when it's difficult. The bank that had once been just a place for transactions had become something more meaningful. It was where a simple error had led to valuable lessons about integrity, compassion, and the connections that make a community stronger. And as Leo left that day, he felt richer than he ever had with those extra dollars in his pocket, not in money, but in friendship and self-respect.